In the past 6 months or so, Tesla CEO and Trump ally Elon Musk has taken a sudden and marked interest in the UK. He started off as a critic of the new Labour government, nicknaming Keir Starmer as two-tier Keir during the Southport riots, before throwing his support behind Reform UK, a new right-wing party led by fellow Trump ally Nigel Farage. However, despite rumours only a few weeks ago that Musk was considering donating $100 million to Reform, it now looks like Musk and Farage have already fallen out, with Musk tweeting over the weekend that the Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes. So in this video, we're going to look at Musk's brief dalliance with Reform, why they've fallen out, and what all this tells us about Reform's ambitions more generally. If you want more UK political drama from us, then check out our podcast Starmageddon, where we track the successes and failures of this new Labour government. Find it over on the TLDR Podcast YouTube channel or in your favourite podcast app. Now, we're going to split this video into two parts. In the first, we're going to go through exactly what Musk has said about British politics in the last few months. And in the second, we're going to explain why him and Farage have apparently fallen out. So let's start by taking a look at Musk's recent foray into British politics. Musk's first real interaction with the British political class came in 2023, when Musk was interviewed by the then Prime Minister Rishi Sunak at Downing Street to discuss AI, just after the UK's AI Safety Summit at Bletchley Park. While the media coverage of the interview was a bit mixed, many Brits weren't too sure why the Prime Minister was interviewing someone rather than the other way round. Musk was apparently impressed, subsequently describing Sunak as an asset to the UK. Musk's public attitude, though, changed significantly in mid-2024. In response to the Southport stabbing, Musk reposted a video of the ensuing riots, with him claiming on X that, quote, civil war is inevitable. At the time, the newly elected Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, posted on X criticising the ongoing attacks on Muslim communities. Responding to this, Musk stated, shouldn't you be concerned about all communities, before giving him the nickname two-tier Keir, a reference to the idea that right-wing protesters and rioters are treated less favourably by the police than left-wing ones. Around the same time, Musk also shared misinformation suggesting that far-right rioters were being held in emergency detainment camps. He then turned his attention to UK hate speech laws, declaring that I don't think anyone should go to the UK when they're releasing convicted paedophiles in order to imprison people for social media posts. The very next day, Musk then took aim at Starmer's planned inheritance tax hike on farmers, claiming that Britain is going full Stalin. Then, only last week, Musk began to criticise Starmer and his government for failing to launch a national inquiry into the Rotherham child sexual abuse scandal. In fact, this time, Musk even went as far as suggesting that Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips should be jailed, and suggested that Keir Starmer had failed to prosecute rape gangs when he was the Director of Public Prosecutions, or DPP. This is despite Phillips urging the council to open its own inquiry, and despite the fact that Starmer, as DPP, began prosecuting Rochdale grooming gangs in 2013 and changed the way that the Crown Prosecution Service, or CPS, approaches child sexual abuse cases. At the same time as Musk's attacks on Labour were escalating, he began throwing more and more support behind Reform. He tweeted that only Reform can save Britain, sided with a Farage tweet taking aim at the Conservatives, and held a meeting with Farage and UK billionaire Nick Candy, who used to support the Tories but has now decided to back Reform, at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. There were even reports that he was considering donating some money to the party, apparently confirmed by an interview Farage gave to the BBC in December. However, this bromance has apparently fallen apart as quickly as it began, with Musk on Sunday suddenly calling for Farage to step down as leader of Reform. The proximate cause of this falling out seems to be a disagreement over Tommy Robinson. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Christopher Yaxley Lennon, is a British far-right activist who's currently serving an 18-month prison sentence for contempt of court. Now, we always get pushback when we use the term far-right, often for understandable reasons, but it's worth explaining quite how extreme Robinson's politics are. He was a member of the British National Party between 2004 and 2005, a party that had called for the compulsory removal of non-whites only a few years earlier, before founding the English Defence League, an anti-Islamist group whose members were convicted of planning to bomb mosques in 2011. Importantly, Farage has always gone to pains to distance himself from Robinson, on the grounds that he considers him too radical. When Robinson joined UKIP in 2018 under its new leader Gerard Batten, Farage dismissed him as, quote, a thug, and called for Batten to be removed as party leader. During the Southport riots last year, which were indirectly spearheaded by Robinson, Farage released a video on X accusing Robinson of stirring up hatred and insisted he had nothing to do with him. Anyway, in the past few weeks or so, Elon Musk has become a vocal supporter of Robinson's, tweeting that authorities should free Tommy Robinson, while adding that the documentary Robinson made that caused him to be jailed for contempt of court was worth watching. This apparently caused a bit of tension with Farage, who told GB News that, while he understood why Musk backed Robinson, Reform is a political party aiming to win the next general election. Robinson is not what we need. Farage then refused to endorse Musk's comments criticising Starmer and Labour MP Jess Phillips over the grooming gang scandal, prompting Musk to call for a new leader of Reform and then tweet a poll asking whether America should, quote, liberate the UK. In response, Farage stood his ground, insisting that Tommy Robinson isn't right for Reform and that he wouldn't sell out his principles. And, well, this is sort of unsurprising. Obviously, Farage has never been a fan of Robinson, but over the past few months or so, as Reform have climbed in the polls and the prospect of them actually winning a non-trivial number of MPs at the next election has increased, Farage has gone to pains to moderate their image and appeal to more centrist voters. Like more successful anti-establishment parties, he's tacked to the left on certain economic issues, having previously been a classic low-tax, low-spend right-winger, as evidenced by Reform's suggestion last month that Thames Water should be nationalised. Unlike in 2019, when Farage's Brexit party did a quiet deal with Boris Johnson's Conservative Party at the general election, Reform have also been attacking the Conservatives, suggesting they really do want to establish themselves as a significant political party in British politics, as opposed to just a pressure group. And, well, buddying up with Tommy Robinson, who's appallingly unpopular with the British public, with a net approval rating of -60, according to the latest polling we could find from 2019, really wouldn't help Farage in this respect, even if it strains his relationship with Musk and, indirectly, Trump. Now, this ongoing power struggle is only likely to continue as Musk's interest in politics only grows, and his disagreements with the leaders of Reform and the Republicans widen. The question is then, who'll come out on top? Who is the world's most influential person? That's what we're trying to find out with our most influential person list, which we need your help with. If you head to the link in the description, you can vote for your own personal top 10, helping to shape our overall ranking. Your vote is super important, and voting closes on January the 15th. So do your democratic duty and cast your ballot for the world's most influential person. Also, if you're wondering why we're doing this, it's for the next issue of our magazine, Too Long. That's because the next issue will contain the entire list, as well as fascinating articles about the top 25. Those won't just be boring profiles about each of the people either. There'll be interesting stories about who these people really are, where their power truly resides, and how they wield their influence. If you want to pre-order a copy of the magazine now, you can click the link in the description to pick up a copy. Oh, and if you pick up a premium copy of the magazine, you'll also get access to our internal award ceremony, where the team will first learn and react to your votes live. Plus, you'll get to watch TLDR team members sit down to discuss their lists and fight it out and try and agree for once. Plus, you'll get access to our behind-the-scenes podcast, The Bullpen, and your name printed in the thank you section of the magazine. Anyway, find out more, cast your vote, or order a copy by clicking the various links in the description.